In video number 20, we're going to talk about the resource box. Now, if the article is the give, then the resource box is your take. And this is where you get to ask your reader to take action, which is generally going back to your own site. Now, in order to get the most out of your resource box, you've got to deliver in your article on your title's promise. So if you've told them that you're going to give them 5 ways to train your puppy, then you need to give them 5 ways to train your puppy. And the information you give them needs to be credible. They need to believe that you're an expert. But you don't need to tell them everything you know in your article. That's because if they know everything you know by reading your article, there's no reason for them to go to your website. So you want to leave them wanting more. And you do this by saying things like, for more information, in part 2 of this article, for a free report, go to my website. Now, there's something called anchor text, and that's the highlighted keyword, and that's what people click on to get to your site. So for instance, if your resource box was for more information on puppy dog training, go to http://mydogtrainingsite.com. You'll notice puppy dog training and the HTTP are in blue and underlined. That means people can click on them and that will take them to your site. If you can make the main anchor text the main keyword for your article, it helps with SEO for that article. So that's a thing to keep in mind. Now, Ezine Articles only allows 3 words in the anchor text, puppy dog training, but it sometimes will allow a 4th if it's a minor word such as and or of. But you can't use anchor text such as how to train your puppy dog never to go in your bathroom. That's too long of an anchor text, and they only allow 3 keywords at this point. Remember that the resource box is not about you, it's about your reader and what they should do to get more information to solve their problem. It's called a resource box now, not a biography box. And it's important to keep this in mind, especially if you start studying other people's resource boxes, because article directories were initially set up differently than what they're used for today. Initially, an article directory was a place where people could come and get articles to put on their own sites or in their ezines. And they weren't really about generating traffic from the directory to somebody's site, to somebody's own site. Well, when these were essentially guest articles that were being placed on other people's pages, the biography box made sense. It was kind of like in a magazine, when a guest author writes, usually there's a short biography at the end. But since directories are now places where traffic is generated directly from, the resource boxes have evolved as a result. And they're no longer about the writer, they're about the reader. Now, you're only allowed to have links to, or you're only supposed to have links to one site if you want to have an effective resource box. So you'll from time to time see resource boxes like this one, which always make me laugh. John Smith writes about Alaskan cruises and how to get over depression. So there'll be an article about travel, and there'll be these 2 kind of unrelated websites that you can be taken to, and that's kind of silly way to use your article resource box, because it makes you look like you're not an expert on either one. Now, you're only allowed 2 links at the moment. This is another example of the dead information. It used to be that you could have 3 links in your resource box, and again, when you go out and you look at other resources for article marketing, you may see them recommend that you use 3 links. You can't do that anymore with Ezine Articles. Only 2 are allowed at this point. Now, I want to talk something about the difference between article marketing for traffic and using articles as an SEO strategy, because you'll see some information on both and you need to decide how you want to approach article marketing. One strategy is to have the keyword phrase link, like puppy dog training, go to an internal page of your website, and the HTTP link go to your home page. Now, this works if you're trying to use using articles as an SEO strategy better than when you're using article marketing for traffic. If you're using article marketing for traffic, it's usually best to have puppy dog training and the HTTP link both linked to your main page. However, if you're trying to build an SEO based article strategy, you can use them differently. Now here's a hot tip, although it's becoming a lukewarm tip as we speak. Make your last paragraph into the resource box. Remember, in the article itself, that's the give, and you're not allowed to promote your own site. But if you use your last paragraph as the resource box itself, you get to put a link in that, and it flows kind of naturally. But Easing Articles is actually cracking down on this, and you have to be more clever to get it through. Don't use the resource box as the last number on a numbered list. So if your article is on the top 5 ways to train your puppy dog, number 5 should not be your resource box. That's where they're really cracking down. So you still have to give 5 ways and then use your resource box as kind of the conclusion to the article. You may be a little bit confused about how to get anchor text in, and don't be worried, because in video number 21 we're going to learn the basics of HTML for article marketing purposes. It's not complicated computer programming, and we're going to learn how to do it quite easily. So don't be worried about how to do anchor text at this point. Thanks a lot.